Good morning, good afternoon, good evening. Hi, everyone. Welcome back. It's Monday, December the 2nd, and we are thrilled that you are with us. Hi, Peggy. Hi, Rebecca Joe. Hi, everyone, and welcome to this morning's Spiritual View. And we are delighted to have you. If you're new to the channel, we are a collaborative effort of seven soul sisters who are merging their magic. And so we are really coming together in the spirit of community and sharing and growing and expanding all of our souls' journeys together. So welcome. And today, we did want to start off by following through on the promise that we made to you last week, which was to do the live drawing for the free reading. So thanks to those who commented on the video. And I'm going to turn it over to Jen, who is going to get us going on the drawing.
Okay. So Angie is actually going to do the drawing first for which reader it's going to be.
Okay.
Sure, everything's nice and 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Sorry. Oh,
Who we got?
that. Oh, sorry. I was like looking for my mute button. That would be Miss Jen.
Yay! All right, let's see who I'm reading for. Okay, so share screen.
We need a drum roll or something.
All right, so we didn't have a whole lot that actually signed up this time. So let's see what we got. Black Lilith is my friend. You are the winner.
All right. Wow.
Cool.
And I don't see her on the chat yet, so we will reach out and let her know. But thanks to those who put their name in. And again, welcome. We've got Lucy, Kathy, Shannon, Larissa, and I'm echoing for whatever reason. So today, guys, we're going to talk a little bit about triggers. And it was a big holiday in the United States this past week. And many of us were with family and friends, close associates. If you are a human being, you probably were triggered in some way this past week. So we're going to have a conversation today about our triggers, some of the deeper meaning astrologically and also from the Akash with regards to triggers and how we handle them for the upcoming month of December, because there's a lot of energy that suggests that we're going to have opportunities in terms of how we manage our triggers. So having them is going to be probably a given, and how we navigate them productively is, I think, going to be the challenge. So with that, we're going to get started really quickly, asking everyone just to close their eyes for a moment. We're just going to clear our space, get started with the week with good, clean energy. So I'd ask you just to sit in your chair, sit back and relax, close your eyes, take a nice, deep, cleansing breath in through the nose and out through the mouth, in through the nose and out through the mouth. And just continue to breathe deeply, relax, set aside any worries. And we're just going to allow this beautiful golden light to meet us all the way on the crown chakra from the soul star, moving all the way through our chakra systems, the third eye, the throat, the heart, the solar plexus, the sacral, the root. This golden light of the divine continues down our legs, feet, out the toes, and anchors us deep with Mother Gaia. Feel the loving, nurturing, supportive energy from Mother Earth. She is here to support us to secure our space, and to ground us into who we are as souls and why we came here at this time. The light comes back up from Mother Earth, meets our feet, works its way up through the legs, back through all the chakras, root, sacral, solar plexus, heart, throat, third eye, crown, and connects us with heaven or source. And this golden light comes down around each of us in a cone of protective light. Archangel Michael is here to guide us and to give us strength for the week ahead. Your guides, archangels, ascended masters, ancestors are all here in support of your growth and expansion. Our energy is clear. And ladies and gentlemen, we are ready. All right. So let's get started. We're going to talk triggers today. So anyone, ladies, want to talk about any triggers or what's been your experience over this most recent holiday?
Yeah, I just thought just honest conversation right now, because I mean, triggers has just been just a big thing for me for the past 3 weeks, probably. I've been really confronted with my CPTSD. And so I've never really fully understood how triggers worked until processing through what's been happening and coming up this past little bit. And like the purpose of triggers are like, it's to force you to really look at something that needs to be healed. I mean, the reason why it's there is because it never got resolved. And so like the more that you just kind of run from it, it's just going to continue to fester in there. And then like you're just piling more and more in it. And so like where I've been, it's just like now everything has become a trigger. And so like I am forced to like face it like here. And it's just so uncomfortable. But like the breakthroughs that I'm having just by just looking at this, it's just, I mean, that's what they're for. And so like, that's why I want us to really like, let's look at this. Let's talk about it, because we're all dealing with it and it doesn't go away. Just, so who else wants to add to this?
I'll add one. Mine was completely out of the blue. And we did some videos. Dawn did a really great video on Friday talking about setting intentions and being bold and brave and talking about the energies of, big energy. The flip side of that also that Wendy and I covered over the last couple of days is it's causing a lot of energetic triggers. And so over the weekend, I got my Christmas tree and I was putting the lights up and I was having this memory, and I'm going to go very vulnerable and raw here. But when my son was about 18 months, my husband at the time kissed me goodbye on a Monday, said he'd see me for dinner, and he never came home and never spoke to us again, and he disappeared. So he was living a double life. And that happened probably around July or August of that year. So at Christmas time, it was my first Christmas by myself, and I didn't know where he was, and I'd hired a private detective to find him. And my son and I got this big Christmas tree, and he had just turned 2. And we would sit at night under the tree and lay on a blanket and look up at all the lights. And it was just a very poignant, heartfelt experience. But I just burst into tears, and I was like, wow, I completely forgot that memory and how grief-stricken that I was, and I couldn't even express it. And so I think it came back around this time to honor the grief and to say it's okay to sometimes have these memories that trigger us in some very painful times. And so I kind of worked my way through it. And I told my son, who's now in his late 20s, about it, and he didn't remember it. But it was a very interesting and surprising welling of grief that just came out of me at that memory of a little kid that lost his father. And, we were alone, and it was not fun, but it was something that I still needed just to get out of my system. And that was okay. And I honored it. I cried, and I'm okay now. Does that make sense?
Yeah. Did you want to share, Angie? Or no, got Dawn.
Mercury retrograde, really, it's been hitting me so big right now. I'm doing a class with a friend, and one of the things that we did in a meditation was go picture our homes where you live when you're 7 years old, and what emotion did that bring up for you. And so I pictured the home, and I had sadness because I came from this alcoholic father, and a mother who basically, she had no friends. Her children were her support system, and I was like, it just made me sad that wasn't a happy memory because everybody had a different memory of that particular time. And then to acknowledge that, which is really hard. It's like, I changed that for my own children, but to think back on the time and think that was really, really hard to have to go through. And that feeling of powerlessness, when you're young and you're basically in survival mode. And I really feel that we're going to be getting more and more triggers as we approach the holidays, because we're going to be forced to look at or witness. And I have a card that came out the other day that I wasn't sure when I was going to use it, but there was a specific thing that came out. I'll have to let you guys hear it. But it's about the fact that, we see things and we are going to remember things, and it's going to be triggers for us. And it's things that we're going to have to experience and acknowledge. Mm-hmm. And maybe they won't have a resolution. I think that may be something we need to be aware of. Some triggers won't have resolutions, but you will, in your own way, recognize what that was and why you're
allowing it to still be your reality. Just
right.
Accepting that it was your reality, because that was something else I kind of got from what you were just saying. It's just, it is, seeing it for what it really was, and going through the grief process that you didn't have when you were, the little girl.
Because you couldn't. Yeah, it was like you just had to keep going. And I think so many people and we have Neptune that is going to, right now is at station. It brings up emotional things. Neptune standing still is very powerful, and it's turning direct on the 7th, but it's at a station right now. So we will be much more emotional. We're in that energy now. Mm-hmm. And Mercury being retrograde is bringing up the energy of, in Sagittarius, thinking back on those memories, around this time, and having Jupiter being retrograde as well in an opposition with Mercury, and it's in Gemini. So there's going to be a lot of thinking and thoughts and things that are going to be coming in as memories. And I think we need to allow ourselves to process what maybe we weren't acknowledging before. And then that can explain what is the trigger, why that triggers you. Because finding out why that's a trigger, somebody can say something and all of a sudden you'll just be annoyed. And you're like, okay, why did that annoy me? Mm-hmm. What was that got me? And it wasn't that person. It was like, it's something from in the past. Mm-hmm. that is being brought out. So, and Angie, I think you wanted to say something.
I'm glad that I went last, because just being able to listen to you guys talk, and I know spiritual viewers, you weren't here before us as we were gabbing before the show, but I lost my shit this morning over something. It's real, like, what is a trigger, right? So if we're unfamiliar with that terminology, it's having a reaction to something that is not in alignment with the actual quote unquote crime. If we just, it's not what the thing was, right? You're having an out of balance reaction to something that you shouldn't have had that big of a reaction to at face value. That's a trigger. So for me, the people messing up the mortgage and not putting the money in the right place for the taxes and, you know, all that fun stuff that we don't like to have to deal with, I did everything correctly. You know, I called ahead of time. They assured me. Now, do I have to go back? Do I? Oh, no. The payment will be corrected, paid off the escrow balance so that it could go back to regular payment. And what happens this morning, what I wake up to is it's all taken out of my account because it's an automatic. And so that, and I lost it. And I don't normally, that's not something that I'm usually a pretty positive person and always see the brighter side or seeing the rainbow in the storm kind of person, but I lost it. Like it was just, but it's not about the mortgage is the point. I think that reaction, really it's not about that. It is about, you know, that powerlessness of feeling like a little kid. And I don't want to, you know, I don't want to be in poverty. I don't want to have to wear ugly clothes to school. You know, that's trauma. I don't think people realize that poverty is traumatic. And opening the fridge to no food is traumatic. So clearly it's not about the mortgage, right? I think you get to see real time how that happens because it's still, my body's heating up, my heart is beating faster. So if we can notice when our reactions are out of alignment with the original crime of whatever that you're upset about, that's a trigger, guys. So I don't, it's just that powerlessness, but I did all the right things. It was already lined up. They told me it was going to be okay, and it wasn't. And there's not a damn thing I can do about it. They're not crediting me back the difference. It's not good. Like, you know what I mean? And that is something that just injustice, unfairness, that's what will get my goat. That does enrage me when things are unbalanced or unfair, especially if they're being done to people who don't know the difference or don't know better, or someone's taking advantage. So just, I hope this helps someone out there. Me boohooing and being ridiculous. I hope it helps someone just even understand what that looks like and what that feels like in your body. If you can notice the bodily feeling of, you know, my body's heating up, I'm having tears for a stupid mortgage, you know what I mean? It's not really about that. That's how you know you're being triggered.
Yeah.
And
And
I mean, go ahead.
oh, it feels like the because I missed that earlier. I got in a little bit later when we met first thing, but I think it's like you had a coping mechanism to deal with all of that by making sure you do the right things and getting all the paperwork lined up. That was your coping mechanism, and that was your safety net because you did do all the right things, and then they took your safety net away, and you know, then they made you a victim in that sense. I mean, it's that emotional, you know, I did everything right, and I still don't have, you know, that safety net was taken away, that I did all that right stuff. And I think that there's a lot of people that are going to be looking back on things with that. But go ahead. I know Jen and Sari.
I was going to say, just the awareness is the first start. I mean, you saw it, you knew what was happening, and just being able to sit there and say, okay, I know what's happening. I'm just letting it happen, not judging yourself because it's happening, because that's what I tend to do, is like, why did I act like that? Because it's something that I still need to process through. It's something that's still there, that still affects me. And I had a story that I wanted to share with you that I was thinking about. from this weekend, I went and bought a Christmas tree, and that just felt like it was not going to be a big deal kind of thing. And I ended up getting triggered and nearly crying in the store. And I'm like, oh my God, what is wrong with me? Because this, I mean, it's not a big deal. It really wasn't a big deal. But yet, like, my whole reaction was a big deal. And thankfully, like, the people who were there right in front of me working with me, they had so much compassion. Like, here I am just really losing it. And I mean, I wasn't being mean to anybody, but I was not being sane. And they were just like, I love your hair, your purse, they're making me feel like I'm something special. And I know that I'm being just a lunatic in that moment. And so, like, it just, like, that's when you're not the one being triggered, if you can even recognize that in other people and you can offer that space and just kind of help regulate them back down. I mean, the gift that they gave me in that moment was just, so I hope that whoever you worked with today gave you some sort of compassion, because I mean, I know, like, you probably have enough guilt of your own about what came out. And I just hope somebody gave you space for that. Sari, did you have that you wanted to
add? And Dawn, you gave us a great astrological perspective. The one thing also that Wendy and I talked about over the weekend around triggers, from the soul's perspective, one of the things that the Akashic Records pointed out yesterday, if you haven't seen the video, was that as we are moving into the present timeline, where all the past lives, everything is coming into one timeline, all the emotions, it's like a tidal wave coming into the present moment. So for many of us, we've been doing the work and we think we're done with the lesson. And then I called it being getting the bitch slap across the face. And, I got one over the weekend, and it was like, wow, I thought I was done with that. And the story about my son, I was a good parent. I was a good spouse, and my husband chose, to be a rotten human being and leave us and never speak to us again. And so it took me a long time to take back my power and not to feel a victim, especially, Angie, when you didn't do anything wrong. And that's that sense of helplessness. But what they said from the Akashic Records is expect the energy to be pretty strong. It's all coming in right now. And so if you have lessons and lifetimes where things were not closed out, it's coming into the here and now, so you can release it and let it go. So I think for me, understanding that when I get triggered, it's like, oh, okay, there's something bigger going on spiritually now, and all this is coming through us so it can be released. And I just when they're coming up, instead of being judgmental and blaming myself for not having, done the work or enough work, it's like, give yourself grace and compassion and just keep letting these emotions go through you and out of you. And because you don't want them trapped in your body, that's what causes us to get sick. And so it will be a time right now where you might feel the intensity is greater than normal, and it's okay. And if you lose your shit, you lose your shit. It's fine. You'll get through it.
That's the human part of us. I mean, we all have it. I think Dawn has a card she wanted to share with us.
Yeah. Surprisingly, when I was setting up for the new moon ceremony, and I had been doing a reading earlier, this extra card came out, and I knew it was something special. And I was going to use it last night, and then I forgot about it. And then I thought, it so much ties into what we were talking about. So there's a reason for everything. And this card is a number 64 card from the Mystical Shaman Oracle, and it's called The Witness. And this is the card. So it has 3 parts, but it's so poignant for me. The essence: the witness observes without engaging in any action. By cultivating inner stillness, we are able to assess any situation from a higher perspective and make better decisions. When we can be present for someone else's difficulties with stillness, then we are able to truly hear them and give better advice. Sometimes we can be so still that we are a mirror for the other. Then, through our presence, they receive their own answers. The invitation: The witness that has been by your side all along is now ready to become your ally. You thought you were the doer, but today you discover that things happen when you get out of the way. Witness creation unfolding before you. Change reality by finding stillness and letting your true intent reveal itself. The medicine. Acknowledge your preconceptions, ideas, and feelings about the situation you are in, but resist the urge to change any of it. Do not fall back into your controlling patterns. Instead, take a few breaths and connect with the joy of not having to perform. Hold space for the world to keep spinning on its own.
That was perfect.
Wow.
Yeah, that was perfect. Well, I think that is a good spot for us to start. So we are going to move over to pulling cards. So if you would like a reading, put a heart in the chat, and we're going to be starting with Sari.
Okay. All right. And I was drawn, Larissa, to you this morning, and you said you had some triggering going on. And thank you for being vulnerable and sharing. So I pulled a card. We're going to ask 2 questions. So the first is, what is being triggered in you right now? And then what is Spirit's advice to you as you look at working through that this week? So Larissa, if you're still on, the first card I pulled is from the Shaman's Dream, and this is called Sky Bridge. Possibility for union, what needs to be connected or disconnected. So this is what you are being triggered by, or you've got some emotions. And let me read this to you. You stand before a seemingly unreachable abyss, and there's no possibility of retreat. The path behind you is no longer a viable option. You need to act soon, though. Life has brought you to this moment to offer you as yet undreamt of possibilities, but you must no longer postpone what you know is inevitable. And yes, you were allowed a breach or a breath or two before the leap. So take a bit of time to yourself. Get away for a day or two of contemplation, or even just for a few minutes walk to clear your head. Muster your courage so that you may cross the sky bridge. The sky bridge appears when the moment is absolutely right for a quantum leap. This is interesting. Life believes that you are ready, even if you do not agree. Remember not to confuse your true state of readiness with your plans and preparation. Respond with yes and let the universe take care of the details. So you may be triggered by something, a path or something that hasn't worked out, something that you've been working on or has just not come to fruition, and you've gotten triggered. And basically the universe is saying to you, Larissa, you're ready for a quantum leap ahead. And Spirit's advice for you, it's from the Kuan Yin deck. I believe we need a lot of compassion this week. And this is a beautiful, beautiful deck. And I pulled for you the Daughter of the Phoenix. When the soul is ready to spread its wings, it goes through a deep cleansing, purification, and preparation for new levels of spiritual freedom, power, and light. Just like the phoenix that is baptized through celestial fire to be born anew, you are going through such a phase of heavenly purification, preparation, and initiation. This is an advanced phase of soul growth, and soon after you will enjoy greater spiritual peace, divine power, and advancement on your divine life plan. Kuan Yin, Daughter of the Phoenix, has been through fire, both physically and heavenly, and has ascended into a position of great spiritual peace and power and authority. She guides you now to reclaim your birth and ascend. Wow, that is such a beautiful card. There's a lot of compassion, Larissa, with this. And it says, through this cleansing, letting go, and purifying, you are ready to really expand your spiritual journey. Both cards actually spoke to that. So say yes and let it happen. All right, I'm going to pass over to Dawn. And thank you, Larissa.
Hi. Well, this morning I'm going to be reading for Delilah to start. And when I asked, what is the trigger for you now. I had 2 cards come out. The first one was a solar plexus chakra, which is below the throat chakra. It's where we have our power, where our power is from. And the other card that came out with it was firm foundation. So I feel like you are needing to, I feel like it's boundaries. I feel like there's boundaries that you may not be putting out there for other people that you need to. I feel like there's things that you need to be more firm about. And I feel like that is going to be the power that takes you forward. But I really feel that is, feeling like you don't have power would be the trigger, I would say, because it's that plexus chakra, right? Where our energy comes from, right? Our strength, our core, as it were. So there is that. And then, so that's what I've got. And then I'm going to use the same deck that I just had read from. And for you, the card that came out is the Beloved. Beautiful card. I will show you. If I can pick it up. There we go. The essence. The Beloved is the recognition of spirit in another and moving toward spirit through the other. It is when the divine appears to us in the form of our child, our partner, our friend, and we experience being in love. As we grow, we start to recognize the beloved in everyone, not confusing their personality with their divine nature. The invitation. Accept the invitation to learn through the path of love. Expand your being through union with another. When you recognize the beloved in another, you call forth their highest and purest nature. Follow the path of love. The medicine. Be careful with romantic love, the kind of love you fall in and out of. Own all the projections you have placed upon the person you are dreaming of. Remember that they are only mirroring back your own deep longings rather than revealing their true selves. If you fail to notice this, be prepared to walk through the fire of strong emotions once again. And I think that is really important with any relationship, that you recognize what you may be projecting on that other person, that they are part of the divine, but they may not be on that path that we are on, but we're projecting them onto that path. And that is going to be a cause for triggers later on, I feel. And guilty right here. I, for many, many years, was projecting what I felt my ex should be and never was. So I think that is something that we have to be cognizant of, is that a lot of times the failings in relationships are our disappointment in the projections that we're putting on other people. And it's issues that we should be dealing with ourselves. So I would recommend and say that with this tribe and with the people that you love and care about, really delve into those very real relationships. And there, I think you'll get that stronger sense of your own identity and power, because, especially with family, this is how a parent should behave, but it's not happening. And we have to recognize that is something that disappointed us, but it's recognizing it allows you to move forward with greater strength, that, okay, that wasn't fair. That wasn't right for that child, right? So I will go ahead and pass this on. Is it Jen that's next, or? Okay, go ahead, Jen.
All right, so I am going to pull for Dream Sequia. If I can find it. Okay, so What's being triggered in you right now is the Five of Pentacles. And instantly I went back to what Angie said. And so that triggering of just this poverty was the thing that kind of came out for me. And the Five of Pentacles is a mindset, though. It's really, you've got to remember what is true and what is not true. And so really being focused on, like, yes, there may be some truths about, like, this is what happened in the past, and there may be some truth about where your finances are at in this very moment, but it doesn't mean that that's your trajectory. So I think that that's really part of what you need to get focused on right now is what you do, what resources you do have available to you right now, really looking at what is available to you and valuing that more than you probably are. All right. And so the guidance is coming from the Soul Coaching Oracle. And we got passion. And I love that there's a little child on this. So, because it does come back to something from your childhood is what I feel like is where this is really coming from. So it says, follow your bliss. Discover what you absolutely love to do or be. And then, like an arrow directed at its target, don't let anything stop you from fulfilling your passion. Exuberant emotions are coming to you, perhaps in the form of romance. Your soul wants you to know if you're having difficulty discovering what you're passionate about, go back into your childhood and remember what gave you joy then. If you loved to dance as a child, sign up for a movement class. Better yet, put on music and boogie in the living room to your soul's delight. If you adore crayons, then pull out those colors and splash their bright hues from one side of the page to the other. If you enjoy observing the insects in your backyard, maybe sign up for a nature study course. Once you're clear on what you are passionate about, do whatever it takes to follow that. Don't wait until it's too late. Many people declare that they'll follow their passion when they retire or have extra time, and consequently, they never experience the absolute exuberance of life. Do it now. If not now, when? Live your life with passion. The affirmation is, I passionately accept and love myself. And so just an energy that I felt for myself and I felt when Angie was speaking, and I'm feeling it now here, is that you probably didn't get to be a child. And so allowing yourself to get to be a child. And so like those things that it was talking about, getting to dance, getting to color, getting to play, find something that brings you that kind of joy again and just allow yourself to be a child just for just a few minutes a day. And I think that that's going to help lift your mood a lot. And again, reminding yourself what resources you really do have, because you have a lot of resources inside of yourself. And that's the thing that's going to pull you out of whatever place you've been in your past. And I mean, the poverty thing really, that hits me so hard because that is my story too. And I mean, I was a girl that literally grew up in a home that had no bathroom. We used a bucket, so like, I know what it means to not have anything. We had to go to our neighbors with buckets, with our milk jugs, and we used their water hose. That was our water. So I know what it means to not have. And so how far I've come out of that was me. That was what came out of me. And that's what you have in you too. And so like, you have to pull that out of yourself and just really, you've got to remember that little girl that's in there, take care of her, bring her out again. So, all right. So I'm going to stop there. We're going on to Angie. All right. I hope that was helpful. Okay.
I am so thrilled to be with y'all today. Thank you so much. If you would like reading, you have not had one yet, go ahead and put your numbers. I'm a numbers girl, so go ahead and start adding those in. I've already asked the cards here, done my cut, and ready to go with a number. So if you guys want to type those in. Thanks, Kathy. Thanks, Shannon. Thanks, Linda. We've got 4. So Angie for Angela. Angela for Angela. So let's look here at what triggers are happening here for you. So anytime anything confuses you, you like you like things that are straightforward, that are right there in your face. You don't like there to be any confusion. So it feels like anytime someone is not clear with you, you may, just because it's not clear to you, this figure here has her arms crossed, and it's like you back right the F up. But it might be such a quick reaction that it's like, okay, just pause, even if it is confusing. Notice that you're triggered by when someone is not clear with you. And that you may assume, oh, they're purposely being confusing. They're trying to trick me. They're trying to, whatever those memories are of however you felt unsafe when you were confused. Maybe it was your inclination to kind of step away, go run and hide in your room. Maybe you just made yourself busy. Maybe you made yourself scarce because you didn't like the feeling of not knowing. So if someone is confusing you and not being very clear, I wouldn't assume that it was for reasons that were nefarious. Just make sure that you're going, okay, I'm having a big reaction here. I can just ask them for clarity, because maybe it's not something that they're not doing on purpose, but for whatever reason that may be a trigger for you, when really that's not the reason. Yeah, really that's not the reason in the first place. And then I have here on the bottom of the deck, Angela, perfection. And that's about needing things to be clear, needing things to be right, like needing to see the I's dotted and the T's crossed. And when it's not that way, there's this sense of, well, I don't want to do any of it. Of pushing yourself back, despondence, just kind of not giving them any reaction. Is like, well, I'm just not going to talk to them. So make sure that before you write someone off here, that you just ask the questions that you need to know that will help you be clear with what their intention is. Because it feels like here, anytime something isn't in black and white, that's an inside, like an inner panic of I just keep getting, they're trying to trick me. So what is advice from spirit here? What skills? Wow, right away. 39 here are ancient futures. This is my favorite card, the whole entire deck. There's an amphitheater energy there behind her. We see the yin and yang of balance of these yin and yang fish, the divine feminine and the divine masculine energy. This is picking up messages by telepathy. So advice from spirit is understand. Yeah. See, there's all these DNA strands here on the side. This comes from something very deep, and it's not the person. It's not what they're saying. It's not what they're not saying. This goes back to when you were just a little baby pearl here. It goes all the way back. And this is kind of your way to grow yourself, is to understand that those triggers are there for you and not to bring you down or not to put you down. It's just really asking us to look at our expectations of outcome. Okay, having that expectation of perfection, and if it's not clear, then I'm not contributing to it in any way. I think maybe finding and asking the right questions, finding the clarity that you need, the skills to develop here to support you moving forward would be just you don't assume that, you have to read people's minds or they can read yours. Verbally ask the question, even if that's uncomfortable. Even if that's uncomfortable. There is definitely ancient wisdom here being also sent to you, downloads, and soul star chakra merging with the divine. This is a turning point here for you to be able to go, oh, that's what that is. That's what that is. Okay, now I know what I can heal. I don't need to assume that just because someone isn't as good at communicating or as clear as I would like them to be, I can ask questions for the clarity that I need. I hope that resonates for you, Miss Angela. Coming from Angela, soul star chakra merging with the divine. That this is your time here. This is the 39 card, which is a 12. We're in the month of the Hanged Man. What can you do that's a 180? How can you react differently? Okay, good. Phew. All right. Thanks, you guys. Thank you, Angela.
All right, I'm going to read for Donna this morning. Donna, I hope you're still on. And the trigger that's gotten you this week has been, this is from the Lunar Nomad Oracle. It says letter. And it's a 27, which is 9, which means that you're kind of at the end of whatever's been going on. So there have been some words, Donna, over the holidays that have probably wounded you or hurt you. And you could not express what you felt. And so this is encouraging you in this trigger to pour your heart out by writing. Express your feelings. You have something to say and someone to say it to. Words take on new life when given the space to live on the page. Heartache can turn to gold with the power of the pen. Writers know that words can heal. Locked inside, words become ravens picking away at your vitality and strength. Set them free so they can take on new life and meaning. So you might not be able to express, Donna, your emotions to someone around you who has hurt you with their words. And so this card says you've been triggered. So write it down and allow yourself the freedom to speak your truth and stand tall in your authenticity. Spirit's advice, and I went back to the Kuan Yin deck because we all need some grace and compassion this week. And I love this message. It's the Orchid Priestess of Destiny. The Orchid Priestess of your highest spiritual destiny calls you now, beloved. She calls you to your purpose, path, and soul passion. You were called to rise again and again to live up to your potential with all its uniqueness and beauty. You may have felt different, and Donna, I know you, so I know this is going to resonate. You may have felt different to those around you at different times in your life. This is meant to be, beloved one. You cannot be a pioneer of different consciousness on this planet if you feel completely comfortable in the consciousness that already exists around you. Do you know that this was chosen on purpose so that you could be on purpose? Your soul chose to be of service by not fitting in so that it would remember through things not feeling right what was meant to help correct and heal the consciousness of our planet. You are where you need to be. Your divine destiny is calling you. It's time to unplug from mass consciousness at a deeper level than ever before. Let go of those old beliefs and thoughts that do not serve you and embrace your destiny. It is time to revise anything inside you that would hold you back. Your destiny is calling you. So, Donna, you are supposed to be different because that is your unique blessing and soul mission. By being different and not always fitting in, you are answering the call of your soul. So that is Spirit's guidance for you this week, that being okay is okay. And that is the beauty of who you are and what you bring to the planet. And whoever has hurt you, write it down so you get your thoughts clear, but it allows you to stand true in your power of who you came to be as a soul in this lifetime. Hope that was helpful. And I'm going to pass it on to Dawn.
Dawn, you're muted.
Yay. Okay. Rebecca Jo. Hi. So I'm reading for Rebecca Jo. And one of the things, the first thing that came out as far as what is the trigger for you now, it's this discontent and boredom. And I feel I'm really relating to this energy, discontent and boredom. Like there's something more and you don't know what it is, but you want it. And this discontent and boredom is like, okay, why are things not changing? You know, what's going on? I want to progress, but I don't feel like I can. I'm stuck. And then I was like, oh, I knew there was another card that needed to come out for this. And the card that came out, oddly enough, was victory and success. And then I got the download of, you need to count your victories. You need to look back and see the successes that you've had in your life and how far you have come in all of this time. I think, and this is one of the things I fight with, is I want everything now. I want it now. But the universe doesn't work that way. The universe takes time, and sometimes it just wants you to be in that stillness, that energy of stillness. So I would say change the discontent and boredom into gratefulness and understanding that you've come a long way, that you will go a long way. And I did pull a card from the Mystical Shaman Oracle for you. And it's a number 11 card, which I really like because it's all about being a teacher. The Council. The Council. The Council are the luminous beings who hold the collective wisdom of humanity. They are the ones before whom you will do your life review when you cross into the world of spirit. Know that their wisdom is available to you at all times when you live in a state of yes, in an unconditional relationship with life. They remind you of your place around a sacred fire, which has been reserved for you since the beginning of time. You will claim it when you own your inner wisdom. The invitation. The Council has a message for you. Listen with your inner senses. The handwriting is already on the wall, so look about you and you will discern its meaning. Do not wait for further signs. Embark on the journey to love deeply, forgive sincerely, and dare greatly. Take the leap without requiring life to assure you of success. The medicine. You are never alone. Turn to the Council to find the guidance you seek and listen to the voice that arises spontaneously. Turn a deaf ear to that nagging voice from your ego that tells you that you are not up for the task before you. Create a spiritual feast for the Council. Invite them to your altar every time you meditate or pray. So I really feel that this is also about listening to your guides, and you have to be in that stillness and that quiet place and not. The greatest power that we have is in the moment of now. So this discontent feeling, I feel, is because you don't see what's in your future quite yet, but that's okay. And I feel like this saying yes to opportunities is there. And when you do that, when you say, okay, I'm just going to hold space right now, and then I'm going to say yes to opportunities, and I'm going to listen to my intuition and what my guides say and take it from a higher point of view, knowing that if I do that, that success will come. What I want will come. I just need to not try to rush it. So I hope that helps Rebecca Jo. But yeah, we are all in a waiting process right now, but things are going to actually be coming in surprisingly quickly in the next 12 months. So I will pass this on to Jen.
Before we move, Linda had a question for you.
Yes. Go ahead. What's the question?
So it's from your ceremony for the new moon. We just leave the paper somewhere.
Okay. What we did is we used, we had the crystal, and if you didn't use a crystal, that's fine. But I want you to place the paper in a special place and a place of honor. If you have a special, like I have a something that I inherited from family that I consider my family altar kind of. And I will place this. I actually still have the note right here. I'm going to place it over there, but I have the note that I wrote down my intentions, and then I have the crystal that's on top of it. And that is allowing the universe to deal with that and then then coming back in 6 months when it's the full moon, and then you can release what came true for you, and also what is not for you anymore. So that was the intention. I'm sorry I didn't make that more clear, but that's what I would say with this, is because we are in this particular Sagittarius moon, and people have the opportunity to do this in the future, still to set their intentions. This particular Sagittarius moon is about not having any limits with what we want, that we want to bring in. If you could have anything in the world that you want, if you could plan your day exactly how you would do it wherever you happen to want to be, imagine that. Put that down. Don't limit yourself. Oh, but that'll never happen. No, this should be a time about not having any limitations for what you request, because we are moving into a quantum field, and you will be very surprised when you look back in 6 months and say, wow, because there's so many huge moments that are happening. The outer planets are all in, either just moved to a new sign or will be stepping into a new sign for the first time, like in a decade. So we have a lot of big moments coming in between this new moon in Sag and in June, where the full moon in Sag comes in. They're always 6 months apart, right? So that full moon in Sagittarius is when you'll be recognizing, oh, that wasn't the dream. Now this is the dream, and I'll release that and I'll move on. But yes, there's huge things coming for everyone. I'm very, very excited. And hopefully that answers your question. So put it in a sacred place and know that your crystal and your intentions are there. And then at the full moon in Sagittarius, then you can do a burning ceremony and release that out. So that's how that would work.
Since we're so close at the end, I just figured if we could just kind of wrap up our final thoughts about these triggers. And I don't think it would be a bad idea to kind of clear the energy again, because we had a heavy show today. And so I'm glad that we got the chance to kind of really be vulnerable, get some stuff out, because I think it helped, collectively. But we also want to make sure that we're not carrying that energy with us. So anything else anybody wanted to add? Go ahead.
What I find really, about my numbers here, and then there's a lot of messages today. The common denominator is this writing energy, writing down our new moon intentions, on top of when we're still in the sun here, just about to click over, to 11 degrees, but we're still at the Sabian symbol of 11 Sagittarius. And listen to this, guys. The lamp of physical enlightenment at the left temple. So those downloads coming in, but the message here is a major lesson is to notice and identify the truth written in facts. These were predicted almost 100 years ago, these symbols. There's 360 of them. And notice Cerie's card for Donna talking about write down the trigger. Okay, John's talking about writing out your new moon intentions. And then we had another writing wand, like there's this leap, the fool leaping. There was another, somebody else said, time to leap, speak your truth, follow your bliss. There was one other card that was talking about writing. It's on here somewhere. I saw it, but 11. We've been seeing lots and lots and lots of 11s. This is about writing, identifying the truth, not being confused, right? And through written, and the truth written in facts. Okay. Even if we do everything the right way, okay, there's still a trigger there. And like, guys, it can be anything, like when Jen was talking about the poverty thing. I know a person very close to me that even if stuff in the pantry is expired, just seeing the boxes, like they don't like to throw the stuff away because it gives the sense of fullness It gives a sense of it's like comforting. You know what I mean? So even little things like that, we may not notice. It's not about the expiration. It's about I don't want to ever feel that way again because I was helpless. The person raising me was doing their damnedest. And yet this is still the life that I was living. So kind of even notice those little things. I think it's important to, no matter what it is, write it out. It's such good advice about just getting that off of your chest, getting it off of your heart onto paper. That's a way to release. And it doesn't have to be fancy. It doesn't have to be anything that's award winning. It's just for you, right? But we've got to recognize, oh, that's what that is. So I think it's been a really important session today, but I do agree that it would be nice to, like the sage and close us out here with a little bit of release with our breath and energy. Yeah. Got it.
So,
I've
Sari,
been-
if you're up for that.
Yeah, I've been saging, so I've been
you.
doing it as we've been going along. Listen, guys, we're going to call it a wrap for today, but we wanted just to thank you so much for being with us. Clear your energy constantly this week. Write things down as you get triggered. And as we've all said, and I believe, Jen, you said this best, so sage yourself, your cards, your surroundings, be with people who bring you joy and laughter. Capture your inner child, give yourself lots of grace and compassion for being a human being on this planet, and you chose to be here during this time of great change. And again, it's the awareness of the trigger that's important to recognize, and then you can start navigating through it. Again, have a blessed week. We are so grateful and honored that you joined us today. We will be back live on Friday at 6 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And we have daily content, so look for those every day. We send you lots of love, light, and blessings for this week. And again, thank you for being a part of this wonderful community. All right. Thank you. Bye.